Hello YouTube! Today in the Naughty Librarian I'm going over my end of November wrap-up. Read a lot of stuff this second half of November. It ends up being like 8 books total, but I'm going to review 6 of them today because 2 of them have already been reviewed on other videos. So that's Magnus Chasing the Sword of Summer. There's a whole live show about this. And also Macbeth. There's a whole Drunk Classics about it. So there you go for those 2. Let's get those out of the way right off the bat. Also, I will say, I am very tired. Like, it's uncomfortable how tired I am, but I'm gonna film this. I'm doing it. Who knows the quality level? Okay, so like I mentioned, I have 6 books I'm going to be reviewing, and I don't know, let's just get into it. I don't have any cool things to say. First category is fantasy, and I read 3 of them. I decided to continue on with the Mercy Thompson series by Patricia Briggs, so I read Bloodbound, which is book 2 of that series, and I'm really kind of enjoying it quite a bit. This time we're dealing a lot more with the vampires rather than all the werewolves, but Mercy, she's still like killing it. She's really cool, and I'm enjoying this series, but I will say in advance, I am nervous about continuing on with the series because there's a lot of like trigger warning things starting book 3 on that I'm like nervous about, but books 1 and 2 were great. So yeah, I think I gave it like, I don't know, I probably gave it 5 stars. I don't remember how many stars I gave it, but it was pretty good. At least 4. I gave it some amount. It's Mercy Thompson. She's kind of a tough mechanic, also like a skinwalker. She turns into a coyote a bit, and then there's like werewolves and vampires and demons, oh my, and she kind of is like thrust into this world of peril. And she's not like an investigator or anything or someone who goes looking for peril. She's literally just a mechanic. And peril just comes to her. She gets mixed up in a lot of shit. So, you know, it is what it is. But I had a good time with it. I think it's a fun urban fantasy series. I mean, I think they're up to like book 15 now. So obviously this has quite the following. But I think it's pretty good. It's fun. It's worth trying out. I also read Vespertine by Margaret Rogerson. Oh boy. Okay, so Vespertine. I ended up giving this 4.5 stars. I just love Margaret Rogerson's writing. This is an auto-buy author for me. No matter what this author puts out, I'm probably going to buy it and read it. And this is, I think, her first book that's actually going to have a sequel. Like, she only writes like standalones, and I was like, you know, this one, it can be a standalone, but there's a lot of like threads still to unravel here, so like it's going to be, I think, a duology, and I'm excited to see that. Like, how is that gonna go? But anyway, so this one's about this girl. Her name's Artemisia. She is like a goth nun. Basically, this world, like, the dead will come back and like haunt and or murder you, so they have to do all these like funerary rites and like, you know, get rid of bad spirits, etc., and like these nuns are part of that. And she also kind of deals with this like wraith, and like they're buddies kind of, but like they have to fight bad guys, and you know, there you go. That's like the very simple version of it. But I also just enjoyed so much this wraith talking inside of her head. It's a very, you know, it's an evil monster who's in a human body, but like, you know, kind of chill, but also still wants to murder everybody. So it's an interesting voice in her head that I was enjoying throughout the book. There were several times I laughed out loud at like some quip or another. I had a good time with this. It was action-packed. She's fighting bad guys, killing evil ghosts, and like there's a whole system of ghosts here, and like a lot of horror action with that. Like, oh boy, like there's some creepy ghosty shit going on. So if you like goth nuns, you like ghost stuff, and you like, you know, YA fantasy, this might be a great book for you. Like, personally, I just like Margaret Rogerson's like writing, so I had a good time with this. I thought it was really fun. 4.5 stars. I had a great time. I also read Into the Dying Light by Katie Rose Poole, and this is like the big finale to the There Will Come a Darkness series. And I had been waiting so long for this book. I pre-ordered it so long ago. And I'm not gonna get into like the whole like concept of this series because frankly it's a lot. There's 5 POVs. 5. Like there's a lot of POVs going on, a lot of world building, a lot of like stuff. So it's hard to like narrow that down. But essentially they live in this world of like gods and prophets and stuff. And the prophets all like had this one big last prophecy, you know, about the age of darkness, and then they just like fucked off. They peaced out and everyone's like, where'd the prophets go? And so now there's this, like this prophecy that's kind of becoming into reality now, and our 5 main characters are all like part of it. They all play different roles and do different things, and it's, you know, the big finale of their journey of how are they going to, you know, prevent the age of darkness from happening. And I mean, some dark shit happened in book 2, so like they have a lot to deal with already. But you know, in the end, I think I gave this like 4 stars. Is it a perfect finale? No, finales are really hard to stick, but like, is it good? Definitely. Like, I liked a lot of stuff in this book. All of these characters are very distinct. They have their own voice. They have their own reasons for doing things they do. And I liked that all of the characters felt very different. I feel like that's useful if you have a multiple POV book. I don't want to be confused whose perspective I'm looking through. Like every chapter, even if I came in midway through the chapter, I would know whose chapter it is. So it's very distinct, different characters. They all have like journeys of growth that they're doing. And you know, there is like, the door is ajar, I would say at the end. If she wanted to continue on in this world, she could. Maybe, I don't know. It's kind of just, it just kind of ends in a way, but it kind of ends openly a little. That's so not descriptive. It means nothing to anybody. But, you know, a lot of things did end how I would have wanted them to end. A couple things felt really, really rushed, and I was like, wait, what? We're just not going to focus on this. We're just moving past this like main event that just happened. So, you know, there was some ups and downs in here, but overall as a, you know, a finale, I think it did okay. I think this is a pretty good one. So 4 stars. Hot damn, do I love this series. Please go read it if you haven't. Like, it's really, really good. I want to see more people talking about it. Next category is sci-fi, and I read one of them. I read Light from Uncommon Stars by Rika Aoki. And this one, like, I don't know, like, I started off and I, like, wasn't feeling it, and I almost DNF'd, and then, like, I talked to my friends who had read it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna push forward, like, let's try to see if this gets better. And you know what, in the end, I'm glad I did. I ended up giving it 4 stars for exactly that reason I just mentioned, that, like, the writing style was hard to follow at times, and, like, I don't know, it's just the way that it was written in banter and like these characters and how they moved in their own world. It was just like not a writing style I would gravitate towards, but the story does have a lot of stuff that's really cool that's going on in it. So this book has 3 perspectives, and it's not like here's a chapter from this perspective, here's a chapter from that perspective. It literally just changes perspective like probably 6 or 7 or 8 or more times per chapter. So it's constantly switching perspectives, and you're just like, wait, what? It kind of gives you like reader whiplash. So just know that going in. But it's also got like layers and layers and layers of things happening. Like on one level, it is a story about making a Faustian bargain with a demon for violin stuff. And then you have space aliens hiding from a space war doing their thing, and then you have the story of a young trans woman. So there's like 3 stories going on here that are very distinct, but they're all overlapping. And if you think that's a weird combo of stories, you're not wrong. It's a very weird combination of things. I'm just gonna speak about Katrina mainly because she's the most interesting character. Katrina is a young trans woman, and she is dealing with quite a lot of stuff. And, you know, big trigger warnings here for, you know, transphobia, violence, sexual assault, all that kind of stuff. I feel like it's perhaps a dark version of what it's like to be, you know, a trans youth who's kind of homeless. And also, I hope not everybody's experience is this. So I think this is probably a very dark one, but one that happens often enough. And it's hard to explain Katrina's like emotional state, because at one point she feels so dejected and like doesn't even want to live anymore. And also she has like this radiant hope that just comes out of her too. So she has like this duality of her nature where you just want to give her a hug. And then you also see like all the stuff she goes through every day. So it's also like, yeah, I get it. I get why you're feeling the way you do. Just rampant transphobia in this book all the time. Not the author, but like all of the characters reacting to Katrina. And I think these things do happen, but like, oh boy, it is a lot, especially if you're sensitive to that. So just be aware. But in the end, I was like actually really happy I read Katrina's story. I thought it was really good. It was weird that they threw in aliens, I would say. like the Damon thing made sense because it's a Faustian bargain for a violin kind of story, and Katrina's a violinist. So that all like has like some resonance to the story, but then also space aliens. They're just in the mix for some reason. They don't really do I don't know what it adds to the story, but they're there. So it's kind of like an odd like throw in on top, but there you go. It's got a lot of different things going on. I am glad I stuck with it because I do think it's very good. It's just, you know, the writing style isn't for me. Like, I don't think it's a writing style I would gravitate towards naturally, but do I think it's good? Yes, it is. So I do recommend it. I don't know if, like, I would read more from this author because I don't really like the writing style, but I do like the content of the book. Last category is romance, and I read 2 of them. I was reading so many heavy stories that like I wanted a good palate cleanser, so I read the Rayquil of Roth by Emily Howard, which is a book like I had been meaning to read for quite some time because I did enjoy the first book of this series, The Beast of Bezek, and I was like, yes, let's see what's going on with the sister now. So we're following Isabel. She's the heroine from the first book's sister. She is very tenacious, and you know, she marries this Marquess, and he just dumps her in the country, and he doesn't come back for 3 years, and like for reasons that are stupid. Like, we'll get into that. But in that time, while she's in the country, she learns a bunch of stuff. She becomes a sharpshooter, like an expert writer, and also just by like talking shit with her friends, she has now started a sexual advice column. So she writes Cosmopolitan magazine of the Regency era. I love this chick. She is great. So she's like, you know what? I gotta go get my husband. He's a dick. He's been ignoring me. I'm going to London. Suck it, Winter. By the way, his name is Winter. Now, I don't know if this is actually a trope or not, but like it's something I classify books as a trope, and that is the no dick is that good trope. Essentially in this trope, the male lead is just such a garbage human that you're like, why do you like him? No dick is that good. You know what I mean? So I don't get why Isabel is really trying to save her marriage to Winter because he's kind of shitty. And like all of his reasons for being why he is the way he is are also stupid. Like, frankly, could have been taken care of with a single conversation years ago. He's just the worst. And for some reason, she just wants to be with him anyway. And I'm like, why? I'm really baffled. So you know what? If this isn't a real category in romance, like I feel like it should be, because no dick is that good. I don't get the attraction between them besides like sexually, because there's smutty bits in this book, but like I don't know why she likes him as a human. You know what I mean? That all being said though, I did give this 4 stars because I did enjoy it quite a bit. Do I like Winter? No, I do not. But do I love Isabel? Heck yeah. Isabel is dope. I love her as a heroine. I feel like she can do better in choice of husband, but whatever. I think she's dope. So this Isabel really carried the book for me. Therefore, 4 stars. Last up, I have 1 Week to Claim It All by Adriana Herrera. And this was kind of just like a me time book because it's really short. And I think I pretty much read this all in one day. It's one of those like, you know, Harlequin Desires. Those little tiny books. And I did get it from the publisher, so I did want to read it because they sent it to me. And, you know, in the end, I did enjoy it. I thought it was pretty fun. I think I gave it like 4 stars because it's pretty good. There's nothing wrong with it. Am I obsessed with it? No. Did I have a good time reading it? Yes, I did. So this is Esmeralda and Rodrigo. So Esmeralda, she kind of grew up being ignored by her birth father. And her birth father, like, owned this Spanish language media empire. And in his will, like, he said, like, okay, Esmeralda, CEO of the company, which I don't really know how legally binding that is, but this is the premise of the book. And if she doesn't take over, like, the CEO position, it goes to Rodrigo. By the way, Rodrigo, her ex-boyfriend. And so she decides, you know what, I am going to take the CEO position. So she goes, she takes the CEO position, and now, like, he's like, but this was my position. And then they get into lots of other positions, let me tell you. It's very smutty, this book. A lot of the times I'm just like, that seems like an inappropriate place to be doing that, but they do it anyway. You know, it's very over dramatic. Like, basically it's just like gasp worthy drama. Like, the drama is so over the top and like histrionic that you're just like, oh, what next? Like, you just get into it because you're just enjoying gasping at things. You know what I mean? It's like a popcorn book. You just want to eat popcorn and just see what these dummies do next. Like, it's one of those. And I kind of like it. It's kind of like soothing just to like really get into something, even though you know it's not like great literature. You're just like, yeah, you know what? Hot damn, this was fun. And that's exactly what it was for me. It was a fun book. I had a good time with it. Okay. So those are all of the rest of the books I read in November, and it was a good reading month. I read like a lot of books. I think I read like 13 or 14 books this November overall. It's like a lot of books. It's a lot. But there you guys go. And then I'm still working on December. It's gonna be fun. Quick piece of like business. December 19th is gonna be my next wine chat. And we are going to be drinking this lovely Trimbach Riesling. It's from Alsace in France. If you want to come hang out. It's going to be on Sunday, December 19th, 12 p.m. Pacific time. Come for the wine, stay for the vibes. I talk about books and I talk to all of you, and it's a good time. So please come hang out. And let me know in the comments down below, what kind of books are you reading right now? We're moving into the holiday season. Have you read anything holiday related? Or, I don't know, just whatever you're reading right now. What are you reading right now? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, make sure you give it a like. And if you want to see more videos, make sure you subscribe. And I'll see you guys soon.